I did bring my own tissues for my tears later. I know they're coming.
Ghost Island.
Anything with ghost in it is a red flag.
I feel like it hits you later. Should we continue going? I feel like you have one more in you.
Yeah, all right, let's keep going. Are you trying to get me to cry?
Do you have lunch plans after this?
I'm going to regret this. Why can't we just have a coffee like a normal person?
Welcome to Hot Ones, starting now on air. Right, welcome Jan to the show, Hot Takes with CISOs and Cybersecurity Leaders. Maybe to start off, if you could tell us a bit about yourself, where you are these days, and yeah, just a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I'm at the moment a group CISO for a university in Australia. Been in security for a good decade, and in IT for a good 20 years all up. It's great to see you here. It's funny, when we're back in Melbourne, we live 3 kilometres from each other.
Yeah.
We only see each other here and there. But,
we only meet in the US for some reason.
yeah, but this is the most common place we meet each other, San Francisco.
That's right,
So, no, it's good. It's good to see you both face to face.
Likewise, and actually maybe considering having hot food as well, what is the hottest food you've ever had in your life?
When I woke up this morning, I regretted agreeing to this. I thought, why can't we just have a coffee like a normal person? But it took me back to probably a decade ago. I was in Malaysia, in KL, and it was the last night I was there. I was flying out the next day, and I wanted something local. So I went to a hawker market and got the local food. It was very, very cheap, very popular.
Yeah.
And got a dish. So it came on the stainless steel plate with the roti bread and sauces and all sorts of stuff, dips everywhere. God, it was so hot. It was so hot. Like
really?
It was absolutely burning, and I could feel it for 2 days afterwards.
Oh my God.
I instantly regretted it. I regretted it all night, and I regretted it on the plane the whole of the next day.
Oh,
so it was some local spicy Malaysian food. So
did you ever find out what it was, like what it had? Like
was it in English? It was just one of those ones where you point and nod and hand over the money. So it was delicious, but there were I think 3 or 4 different sauces, and one of them just killed me. Yeah.
Wow. So word of advice: if you can't read it, don't put it in.
and don't have an early morning flight the next day.
Oh, okay. So you're actually in the plane, just holding on to yourself. No bumps. No bumps. No bumps. Talking about regrets in life, we should probably start with the hot sauce. So obviously, I've got them in the order of the mildest all the way to the hottest, and we've got to make it interesting, we've got some original fried chicken. And if we're feeling spicy towards the tail end, we've got some spicy chicken as well. But this is supposed to be grilled nopales or grilled cactus. Fairly mild is what I've been told so far. So I'll let you do the dabbing yourself for your chicken.
Straight on or?
Yeah. I mean, you can go straight on if you like.
Oh, dip it.
or over there. Yeah, probably a smarter thing to do is just to put it in there. I just go with the little dab on the top. And cheers, and hopefully we survive after this. Not even fun.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. I do taste a bit of cactus, though. Like, imagine if cactus was a thing, it would be. This is what it would be like.
Yeah, I was expecting a jalapeno type taste, but it's different. Yeah.
Let's just go holy moly as well. This is the other one. Why not? We're just like, while we're at it, maybe you don't want to put it on the same thing as that.
Yeah. Let's try that one.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yep. Then we went more cake.
It's okay. That's manageable. That's not.
I think I'm
not like KL just yet.
I guess the challenge is to. So far, no one has gone for the milk yet.
Okay.
So we have to maintain that benchmark.
I did bring my own tissues for my tears later. I know they're coming.
If you were not a CISO, what would you be doing?
So I've always loved computers and technology since I was sort of 5 years old. I had the Commodore 64 back in the day. I had the 286, 386, 486. So I always would have done something technology. But now looking back, I think something I would have enjoyed would actually be construction. Right, so being a builder of some sorts.
Like houses?
Houses, yeah, I think houses or commercial maybe. But I'm a very organised person. I'm very, I like to plan ahead. I like to sequence things. I like to see the big picture.
Yeah.
And I like to get, organise things and see it through. So I think I might have enjoyed.
Like a big project.
Yeah, big project, sort of coming up with the concept and then watching it come to life. I think I'd probably be good at that. But
Builder?
Yeah.
Oh, like Dan the Builder. That would be, I mean, there's a ring to it.
Yeah,
there's a ring to it.
So, if I wasn't in something tech, maybe that's something I'd enjoy. But Yeah, I love tech, so I don't see myself leaving.
Actually, and how do you explain yourselves to your non-technical friends as to what you do?
So most of them have no interest, but I usually just say I work in IT.
All right, right,
so,
right.
I work in IT. And then in 50% of cases, there's no more questions. Right?
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Yeah, fair.
End of story.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a good gauge to work out how technical that person is, right? So then they might ask, oh, well, what do you do? Are you a developer? Are you? So it's
right,
like, okay,
yeah.
yeah, they do know a bit. Oh, no, not a developer. I work in cyber. I'm like, oh, okay, that must be, usually it's like, oh, that must be hard or interesting or whatever. And then sometimes they probe a little bit more. What do you actually do? And you say, all right, well, I lead a team or whatever it is. So it usually starts with the IT, and that often ends the conversation 50% of the time.
The way to kill a conversation is just go say, I work in IT. Kill the conversation. Oh yeah, I don't care. I'm like, okay, moving on.
It's a good filter. It's a good
filter.
Yeah.
At what point in your career did you choose to, like, what was that turning point for you to kind of go, oh, I'm going to go do, I mean, obviously you had interest in computers for a while.
Yep.
What made you go cybersecurity? Because you could have gone down the tech path as well.
I guess, yeah, always having that interest in technology. I went to uni and studied IT. I worked in IT at the same time, so I had a part-time job in IT, like most people, started on the service desk, help desk, that sort of first level support. And then over the decades, I did a lot of engineering, a lot of infrastructure stuff. So looking back now, it really helped me from a security perspective. So, I have a deep understanding of how Active Directory works. I was accountable for a data center at one point to understand the physical security. From a networking and firewalls perspective, I managed those and deployed those. So sort of as my career progressed, it sort of lined up with where cyber was coming on its own, becoming sort of a career on its own. And about 10 years ago is where I started to focus on just being in cybersecurity. Having that background in infrastructure really, really helped. And I sort of followed the path, and I thought this is going to be something big. This is like an actual career of its own now, and I could see the future of it. So I sort of pivoted out of infrastructure into cybersecurity.
Okay, because that's an interesting turning point. A lot of people would not even remember that cybersecurity wasn't even like a thing of its own. Like because tech used to exist as its own.
So I think in banks and maybe governments and defence contractors, there was dedicated departments. But if I'm looking back 15 years ago, security was the firewall person. That was it. You're looking at an IT team, and that was it. And it was really about managing firewall rules.
That's right.
And that was the extent of security. You might have some antivirus products here and there, but there was no dedicated security function, no strategy. There wasn't broader discussion around risk or awareness or anything like that. It was very much just very, very technology focused. So I think it's obviously opened up into its own domain now in the last 10 years. It's a great question because I see it within my team. Like, how did you get into cybersecurity? Everyone's got their own story, right? It's not like when you become a lawyer, right? You've gone through uni, you had a placement, and then you became a lawyer. So it's like it's pretty simple, pretty straight path. But in cybersecurity, everybody's got a different story. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think I've met people who have come from musician backgrounds, lawyer background into cybersecurity, and go, "What made you go cybersecurity?" I mean, it's like that. I mean. I'm all for diversity as well, like different fields coming in because they bring in their perspective. But to your point, I would definitely encourage people to find out what was the background before cybersecurity, because I think I definitely find that personally fascinating. Now, as we kind of traverse through, like, from infrastructure to security, at what point did you think, oh, I'm going to go into a leadership role? Because was there a turning point?
Back in those infrastructure roles, I had done a lot of team leading. I was infrastructure manager for 3 or 4 years in a place as well. And I really enjoyed that, leading the team and building teams. I really enjoyed building teams, and even where I am now, it's all about the people first. Surround yourself with great people, and you can be successful. And you can't use the tools, you can't deploy, can't run any programs without the people, right? You've got to have the right people and passionate people there. So I've always sort of gravitated to those leadership roles, whether that's technical leadership or people leadership. And I guess when I joined my current organisation, it was a new role. It was their first CISO, and naturally it was the team manager.
I definitely find that people who would choose a path of I'm just not going to manage teams. I'm just going to go become an individual contributor or continue on the path. And being able to work across a broad team, I would say, is a lot more stressful than just being an individual contributor. There's a lot more that carries with it as well. So, I mean,
and I think it's a role for the time, right? So in some cases, you might want to contract for a couple of years and get deep into the technology, or it might be your lifestyle, might be travelling, so you want to do some contracting instead. And I think it just comes and goes, and you can sort of move around and gravitate. You don't always need to do one role for your whole life.
I feel like and someone said this, and I thought it was really interesting. They said life is like a season. this could be your contracting season where you just want to go deep dive, but then your season of being a CISO or something else, or maybe just taking time off and just go, well, I'm just going to travel the world and see, come into a dangerous city like San Francisco, and have hot fried chickens. Like, why not?
Danger everywhere, mate.
Well, hopefully the San Francisco Council is not listening to this one. They're like, never coming back again. But talking about building and dangerous, we should build up on this. The next sauce is a Alaskan Serrano bullwhip, which is using kelp and serrano hot sauce. Let me know if you want to go up with the original as well. I mean, so far we're level 3.
Yeah.
If you feel like you want to go up.
Let's see how we go. Interesting colour.
Yeah. All right, cheers, man.
Cheers.
That's not bad. It hits you a bit later. Definitely has hints of spice in there, but not.
It's nice. That's good flavour.
Some more spice with Ghost Island now. Ghost Island.
Anything with ghost in it is a red flag.
If you know what a red flag is, if it says ghost, or if you can't understand what's written over there, you I think I feel like I'm going to go a bit brave and just go for the hot one this time. Oh, I can already smell this. So far, you guys are cheers. You want to see the red. That's how spicy it is. Yeah, don't rub your eyes with it.
Yeah. I was thinking the same. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like it hits you later. I think it was fine, and then right at the end of my throat, as I swallowed it, it just leaves a, hey, I'm here, by the way. Should we continue going? I feel like you have one more in you.
Yeah, all right, let's keep going.
Are you going to
Dragon.
go for...
All right.
Actually, I should probably point it out. It's called Dragon Repellent. You should at least try one of the hot ones after this, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe not the last one as a hot one, because that's supposed to be the spiciest.
All right.
Cheers. It's not bad. I definitely feel it was the hot wings that made it even hotter the previous time, but this is not bad actually.
It's nice. Yeah.
Wow, you should be proud, man. You're on level 5 now. You feel confident for level 6 as well?
I'm worried about this hot chicken.
If you could change anything about cybersecurity, what would that be?
I see this with my colleagues, with my team, with everywhere I've worked. It's probably the manufactured urgency. I think as cyber professionals, we can get burnt out because we're always responding to something urgently, something's critical. But I think a lot of the time, it's manufactured, right? So we do need to respond quickly when there's an incident and the right reasons, but a lot of the time it is not urgent. So whether it's an audit, filling in a spreadsheet, attending a meeting, I think there's a lot of this false urgency. And I think across the industry, we need to sort of work out how to manage that and save the urgencies and the priorities for when they are actually required. So during an incident, I think it really adds to the burnout and the mental fatigue within the teams. So I think that's the one thing I would change is probably that culture around
being
not everything is actually urgent. So what's important, and it's a bit of the boy cried wolf. So if you keep doing that, people just when there is an incident, they're not going to believe you, right? Or not believe the urgency, because if everything's urgent all the time, it's
not be an ambulance chaser, I guess. I think that definitely was and maybe to kind of add one more layer to this, if you're dropped into a company which doesn't have a cybersecurity program and you are been given the role as CISO in 2024, what would be some of the first things that will come to mind that you want to start off with? If never done cybersecurity as a company and now you've been dropped into hey man, you sound like a great CISO.
Why would you take that job anyway?
That's a good one. Why would you take that job in the first place? If you do, and if you're for some reason you have some hard fried...
Hypothetical.
You had some hard fried chickens and you know what? I'm gonna go for this. Sounds like a great idea, like a bad bet gone wrong. So if you were to drop into a situation, what would you start off with?
As much as I'd love to dive into tools and technology, again, I'm a planner, right? So you can't manage what you can't measure. So take a step back, pick a framework, see where you sit, and work out how you want to move ahead through the program. So measure the organisation, whatever framework you're using. That'd be the first thing I'd do.
What's the risk level?
What's the risk level? What are the controls like? The maturity of the controls. Where are your exposures? How does that translate across to the risk appetite for the organisation? What's manageable to do? So what are some quick wins? But where do we want to be in 3-5 years? Those sorts of things as well. So sort of understand it's the measuring stick to work out where you are, and so you can sort of measure where you want to get to.
Awesome. No, that's a great answer. Because it's now time for my rapid fire. So it's going to go for hot fried, So we're going for the hot one this time. And I think you can choose how much of this level 6 you want.
All right.
Because this is a rapid fire, so we cannot technically have too much time to think as well for this. Oh, you're smart. You only got one dab out of it. By the way, for people who are watching this, you can only take out one drop at a time. So when something is like one drop at a time, I'll put double couple of drops.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I think it's spat out. Someone. I was gonna say, I can't even think if it's a chicken or what is it.
This one's probably had the most kick, I think.
Yeah, the producer has spoken. We're trying hot fried chicken with some ghost pepper sauce. Like the producer with her ideas. Cheers.
Are you trying to get me to cry?
It's still good.
It's a nice mix. It's a bit sweet. That's good.
All right, I think we've passed the test so far, but we should write rapid fire. All right, being a CISO is hard because
It's always changing.
if CISO could be a superpower, what would their superpower be?
To stare someone down until they do what you want.
Solve vulnerability. What is your favorite invention of the modern world?
This is a boring one, actually. I think the mobile phone, so like the iPhone, for example, I think we don't appreciate how much it's actually changed our life.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid growing up, you'd watch cartoons, you'd like the Jetsons or something, right? They'd have a piece of glass where they're talking to people. And all of a sudden, 15 years later, we've got that. Like I can talk to someone on the other side of the world in my hand.
FaceTime,
I've got everything there for traveling. It's fantastic. I've got the maps. I've got everything.
Yeah,
in this device.
Actually, you're right, because you can drop into any new city and find your way wherever you want to go.
Yep.
You can call a cab.
Yep.
Call an Uber or whatever. Get to a hotel. You can book a hotel using this. Check in with this.
Yep.
I mean, I think in New South Wales you can even have your driving lessons.
You can,
on this.
yeah. Victoria's getting there. They're doing a pilot, but it's amazing. I think we don't appreciate how much it's changed. Just all of a sudden it was there. Can you imagine? So I've done a lot of traveling, like yourself, turning up into a city without your phone these days. Like you would be completely lost. I'm old enough to have travelled with maps and whatnot. You got to take the bus somewhere. There wasn't Uber at the time, so it's actually opened up these new industries like Uber, right? Through having these devices.
I mean, Airbnb, Uber, all of them, and being in touch with family like FaceTime is a great way. All right, final question. What is the spice of life that makes life interesting?
Again, it's a bit boring, but I think both travelling and getting outside. I love getting outside every day. Like I feel energized once I have the sun on me. I like to go for a walk every day, get the sun on you. I think it's really therapeutic. Arriving in a new city, going for a walk, seeing the sights and the smells and whatever's going on around the city. I think it's fantastic. And I love travelling. I've always loved travelling and arriving new places and trying the hot food or going for a walk. So I think both travelling, experiencing different cultures, different ways of living, and then getting outside and getting amongst it, getting away from the screen.
And trying sauces that you can't even translate names in.
No.
I have a flight tomorrow.
It's probably not going to happen at home, right? So it opens up those opportunities.
Fair enough. I mean, you would not do that back in Australia, so you might as well do that. I mean, and I've got 3 fun questions for you as well. Not that the other ones were not fun. First one being, what do you spend most of your time on when you're not solving cybersecurity challenges of the world?
So I've got a young family. I've got 2 kids. So anytime I can, I try and spend time with them. Whether it's just walking to or from school, or taking them to their activities, or travelling. Even on the weekends, try and get out, go for a bushwalk, go for a walk on the beach. Those types of things.
That's awesome. And what is something that you're proud of that is not on your social media?
Why wouldn't I put it on social media? Facebook, or it didn't happen, right? Probably don't share a lot about my kids and family. Like I try and keep that a bit private on social media. So I've got 2 young kids. I'm very, very proud of them. They're both unique individuals. They're kicking goals at their age of life. So I'm really, really proud of them.
We should put this clip for the kids to watch one day as well. Like this is what Dad said about us. Third question and final one. What's your favorite cuisine or restaurant that you can share?
Probably my favourite food is Vietnamese. Vietnamese and so pho restaurant.
Pho,
the kids love the pho.
Yeah.
And actually where you were in Melbourne, in Chelsea, there's a pho restaurant there run by a Vietnamese family, and it's fantastic. Yeah.
Wait, do you guys enjoy the pho with the organs and stuff in it as well, or is it just the regular meat? Because I don't know because I've not been to Vietnam yet. But I've heard that the fur that they make is with like different kinds of organs and other parts as well of animals.
So I'm not sure where the broth comes from, and often it's been going sometimes for generations. They keep adding to it. I usually go for a chicken, a chicken one, and then chuck the chili in there. And it's so simple. It's hard to get wrong. But it really comes down to the broth. Like the broth is.
I think the broth is the secret. Like even more than the noodles in there as well. I think I definitely.
It's so simple, but I think there's a lot of good Vietnamese restaurants in Melbourne. But this one in Chelsea is.
Would you say it's funny? I think I've always had this question, like why is hot places like hot tropical places like Vietnam have like hot food? Like one of the best things that came out of Vietnam is pho, and it is a hot soup in a way. And I'm like, wait, so imagine it's boiling outside, and then you're just having like this bowl of hot soup. Like I mean, even that is, or maybe it's because it makes you precipitate more, I guess. But whatever the reason is,
maybe you don't notice the heat.
You forget like how hot is it after that.
Well, they do great coffee as well. Vietnamese coffee is fantastic.
Is that amazing? That's the sweet one?
Yeah, so usually it's with the condensed milk, and it's quite strong coffee as well. So it's like drip fed. With the condensed milk. So it's sweet and strong.
So next time I'm back in Australia, I need to try the Vietnamese place. I did not even know I was so close to it before I moved to the UK. But now, like, I've gone so far from a Vietnamese place. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you on the internet to connect and talk more about hot sauces? And
probably LinkedIn. So you got the LinkedIn profile. That's the main place to try and post, particularly work-related stuff.
Awesome. All right, now thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great. You did a great job. You went all the way to level 6. It's not even badged over there. But now, thank you so much for coming. I'll see you next video. That's recording done.